And Hercules has been coming up a lot lately. It started about a month ago. And so I finally went ahead and I just said, you know what? I need to just include it out here because it's becoming relevant in people's charts and people's lives. And yeah, if you've got your chart, find out if it's relevant for you. I haven't studied a whole lot as far as its speed. Wait a minute. You guys, can you see this? Yeah. Okay. So let me get to my software on my end and let me study the speed on that for a minute. And then I can, well, actually, let me read about it. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of alerts all of a sudden popping up on the screen, and I'm a little distracted. I apologize. All right. So here we are. Hercules. The software says this is the divine hero / demigod, son of Zeus, a mortal mother and a mortal mother. Okay, we knew that, right? Half human, half god, demigod. Best known for the story of the 12 labors of Hercules. God, am I always talking about this? Yes, I'm always talking about this. He became a full god upon his death, struggling with something unseemingly insurmountable. It's an inner battle that to keep our passions, our temper in control, learning to become aware of one's own strength. Yes. So this is super relevant. I've got a lot of people who are talking about things in their chart where they're like, gosh, I know this is a trine, but it feels like it's a hex because it allows me to have so much power. Yet at the same time, a lot of fire means you can burn people, you can burn your loved ones, you can burn, right? Too much fire is not a good thing, right? And so the question was like, how do you control it? What do you do? And Hercules' story, the 12 labors of Hercules, and I have recommended, I don't know how many times to people to read. I'm sure there's a ton of people who've taken it and put their spin on it. I'm a big, big fan of Alice Bailey, and I still am. And she literally has the small book, The 12 Labors of Hercules, written. Very small book. I have the paperback. I love it. It goes through the 12 labors and it puts the astrological spin on it. It's like looking at the story of the 12 labors of Hercules through the eyes of an astrologer, meaning you're assigning each labor to a sign, right? You understand what I'm saying? So it's really super fascinating. It gives it a very personal look. But a word of caution, the way Alice Bailey writes, it can be very abstract. It can be very abstract. So some people struggle with it, but I would recommend it anyway, because there are things you may read and you may only catch the little bits and the nuances, right? And which is enough because it's such profound stuff. Her work, it's just, yeah, it's really profound, and it stays with you. It kind of sticks. And the beauty is years later, you can read the 12 labors again. Even if you don't read them all, you can just go back and read one labor once you've learned which sign that they're assigned to. So you can go to labor number 4, number 5. For this full moon coming up, labor number 8, the labor of Scorpio. Right. And so I gave an example of it in the video, which it should be coming up tonight. It's already done. Hopefully it's out tonight. It talks about the eclipse that's coming up, but it goes into a couple more details. And oddly enough, I don't think I talk about Hercules in that video, but I do talk about the 8th labor because it's a full moon eclipse in Scorpio. Right. So Hercules went through all the labors, and basically it's understanding exactly what the software said, which is understanding your own strength, your own power. And many times I give the example of how do you work with that kind of power? You have to do a lot of studying and researching, and you got to do a lot of homework. It's self-discovery. First of all, you have to see it. You have to recognize it. And then you have to say, okay, I have this. Now, like, how do I use it in a safe way? Training and practice, practice, practice. And then practice, practice, practice. And then practice, practice, practice. You get my drift? So there's no simple short answer. It's it's a lifetime of living and experiencing, but the awareness part, the awareness is key, because if you're not aware, you'll never see what it is you are or are not doing in the way that you're using that energy, the way that you're allowing it to express from you. You follow? So that is Hercules. And so that we can be fair, let me find it one more time and zoom in on that for those of you who have this. I mean, we all have it, but we want to see it close up. He is kind of scrunched in there between Chiron and white moon Lilith at 9 degrees. And so you see Hercules has kind of got like, got to get like put your dukes up type of thing, like showing the muscles, like that's Hercules, right? Just like the little stick figure with the arm like that. And it's all about your strength, your power, and recognizing what it is. And then how can you become, the example I give many times is the skilled surgeon, the educated, skilled surgeon who works with the laser in surgery. That laser, that heat, that beam, like that can destroy, right? One false move, you could take someone's life out with that damn thing on the table for sure, right? So it's the same thing. What do you do with it? Do you choose to just keep it put away and locked up and never use it ever again, even though you have this great skill? Or do you use it and practice with it? And so the best thing I could think would be to, a little bit at a time, like in small amounts, right? And then the better you get with it, then you can use it for a longer amount of time and then bring it out more often. But until that day comes, until you become the skilled surgeon where people are paying you and coming to you and saying, hey, I heard you got this great gift, right? Where then you've learned how to use that weapon, right? And you learned how to control the tool, to understand that it's a tool, and it's you as an individual being that has control of how it's used. Okay. And so that is Hercules. Now for the next one, let's go back and let me find it. The next one is over here, and I'm not going to lie, I don't even know the name of this. I've got it on here and I can't remember the name. Hold on a minute. I need water. Yeah, I need a whole lot of water. Let me go to the software because I don't even know about this one, which is just kind of funny. I'm sure I know about it or did at one time. How about I zoom in on it for you guys? There we go. Let's zoom in on that for you. Yeah, it's right next to Regulus at 0. Interesting. I didn't do Hercules' speed. My bad. I will get to that after this. I pray I remember. I'm just realizing what's the speed of this one. It's conjunct Regulus. Holy piss. That's a big deal. So let's see what this one means, first of all. And this one is Persephone. Oh, snap. This is Persephone. It looks almost like Heracles. It's Persephone. And Persephone was abducted by Hades. She became queen of the underworld, goddess of spring growth, daughter of Demeter. Demeter is god of the grains, right? The food, the crops, the grains. It's becoming aware of the separation from parents and the journey into adulthood. Oh my God, this is so. I said the word, the journey, I don't know how many times today with a couple of different people on the phone. Like, they're on their journey. You're on your journey. Everybody has to go on their journey. We have to have that separation. When kids are becoming young adults and they go off to college, well, not everybody gets that opportunity. Not everybody has the money to go away to school and go off to college, to stay there for 4 years or whatnot. So what do we do, right? There's other journeys, other ways to have that same journey. We move out on our own, we get a job or whatever, right? We kind of create separation between mom and dad. And so we have to do that, right? Aquarius energy, where we're being rebellious because we don't want to do what the adults and what the rules are, just because we are trying to create the separation, but we have to niche out our own independence to do that, right? That's how we do it. And so even if I'm not going to do that just because I'm not going to do it, I'm meaning I'm rebelling just to rebel. That's yeah, it's kind of like that a youngster way of rebelling, like rebelling just to rebel. The goal is to have a purpose, right? Have a purpose and have it be where hopefully you understand it's the goal is to harm none. Like that's the big deal there. So becoming aware of separation from parents and the journey into adulthood, leaving home or being sent away from the comfortable familiarity into the unknown. Some may have separation anxiety or may feel like that they're a victim, and then transforming one's self from the victimhood to empowerment, meaning I was thrown into this. I'm all alone now. And that makes me think of a recent comment I got, a message from a subscriber who said to me, when the pandemic began, that crushed me. I am a people person. I remember this person said, I am such a people person. And all of a sudden, I couldn't be around people. And so it was really difficult. However, I learned something. I learned something from that horrible pandemic. I learned like, oh my God, it's just me, myself, and I right now. I'm not seeing my family. I'm not seeing, people I worked with, my clients. I'm not seeing anybody. Like, holy crap. So what this person did was they realized that in every opportunity, there's an opportunity, right? There's a change of events. Things are different. People are here. People suddenly aren't here, or suddenly there's nobody and then there's somebody. And there's always something we can learn from the good and the not so good. And that's what this person was explaining. They were explaining that they saw how it was the first time they had all this silence. They even started meditating. They even started asking inward questions like, who am I really? When I'm alone and I'm separate from the job, I'm separate from my family, what's left of me? Is there anything left? Like, really, what am I? Who am I? Like, what makes me happy? And can I make myself happy when I'm not with my family, when I'm not with my friends, when I'm not with coworkers, when I'm not with clients? Because if that ever happens again, right? Or surely there will be times in our life when we are separated and we have to figure that out. We have to figure out how to make it work, right? And that's exactly what this person said. And I was like, man, you got it spot on, right? I mean, I realize I see how, the pandemic for some did some damage. I get it. I understand. I also see how it's a time where we can learn something, good or bad. Good or bad. I can take my most horrible experiences I've had that I can think of throughout my life. And I can say that although I may wish and think and feel like God blessed America, please never let that happen to me ever again, I do know for sure I learned something. Absolutely. And so if nothing else, what did you learn? If nothing else, what did you learn? And so this one speaks to transforming oneself from victim to empowerment. And that's exactly what that subscriber did. That's exactly what they did, facing something that was so hard for them, but they did it. And so that sign right there is Persephone, because Persephone was abducted, right? And taken into Hades and separated from her family, separated from her world, right? Taken down into Hades, a whole different world, but learned how to roll with that crap, learned how to make it work for her, learned how to make the best out of what she was doing and where she was at, even though it was difficult. It came down to hope and survival. And what am I going to do? I got to learn to roll with the punches, right? And I know that's easier said than done, folks. Okay. I know this is me just going deep on these additional points in the chart because they all matter. They're all important and it's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky dealing with energies. But once we recognize them and we can find out where that is in your natal chart, like this one's in this 12th house. So this is hidden from somebody. It's in their 12th. It's mysterious and hidden. So it's subconscious. So would be some subconscious separation anxiety there. And interesting, it's in pets, it's in Virgo, because I know Taffy. And then another person was just telling me the other day, I can't leave the house. When I leave the house, my doggy just has a fit, can't handle it. I know when Taffy's mom and dad leave the house and I'm still here, I can hear Taffy meowing as soon as they leave. And it's got this almost like a little cat cry to it. And I'm always like, Taffy, come here, come here. I'm like, come on. So she comes into the room and I'm like, you're not alone. See that? Yes, they left for the day. They'll be back at the end of the day. You're not alone. And then she quiets down and she's fine. But she suffers from that separation anxiety. Right. So yeah, maybe your pets might need a little friend or somebody around to help them through that, right? Get them a little housemate, a little pet mate. Um, Now we want to check the speed on Persephone, and then I'll check the speed real quick on Hercules so that we can figure out. I just realized something. Let me put a P over here for Persephone. Maybe that will help us to remember. I'll change the color. Persephone is the P. And then we're going to go H for Hercules. And this one's hard because this is Hermes. I can't do a H. I mean, I can. I did a fancy H. We're going to spell out Hermes for this one, okay? Oh, man. I'm still trying to remember the Egyptian word, the Egyptian name for Hermes. I'm really kind of, sometimes when you can't remember something, you kind of brush it off. I'm not brushing this one off. I'm just not, because I used to really, really, really just, I deeply resonated with the Egyptian. I mean, the word Hermes, yeah. But I just deeply, deeply resonated. And now I don't even know the name. I feel like anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. So we're checking the speed. Yeah, I'm like really loud today. Sorry. I'm checking the speed. I'm checking the speed for, you know why I'm so freaking loud? The moon right now is on my Uranus. That's why. Or as some say, the moon is in my Uranus or something like that. I don't know. I always just say Uranus. So how about Hercules? I'm sorry, I'm being silly. Let's go to Hercules and check the speed. So we're going to go by the day and see where I think Hercules is slower, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it's a lot slower. It moves about 1 degree every 2 days. So it moves like at the speed of of Mercury, from what I can tell, because it's in Aries. 11. Well, yeah, you know what? No, I said I meant Venus is what I meant, right? I meant Venus. So it moves like 1 degree um every few days. Okay? Every few days it moves 1 degree. That's the speed. So that's going to be more common, not as special, right? But it's still pretty special because it's your chart, your birth time, your location. And then we're checking Persephone. Persephone's speed, if I can go back, Persephone's speed looks to be pretty slow. How slow? Well, I'm going to tell you how slow. I'm just got it on the day. So let me go to right now. Right now it's at 0 degrees and 45 minutes. So it's getting close to 1 degree. Okay. And it took until May 3rd, Wednesday, to move not a degree, but to move 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, it took May 1st, May 2nd, May 3rd. So it took it moves pretty slow. That's what that means. Yeah, moves pretty slow. So we've got Persephone moving, I want to say it's going to be a degree within a week. Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's a roundabout. It's about 1 degree per week for Persephone to move. 1 degree a week for Persephone. Hercules was 1 degree every 2.5 to 3 days. Okay. And Hermes is pretty fast, right? We had to break Hermes down to the hour, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's a pretty fast mover. Yeah. Hermes is pretty quick. Hermes is moving every couple of hours. It's almost like the moon. Hold on. I was trying to do a recap of the speeds on all of them, and now I got lost. 350 right now, today, and by tomorrow it's at 236. Okay, so we were saying about a degree a day. Okay, so about 1 degree a day for Hermes, about 1 degree every 2.5 to 3 days for Hercules, and Persephone is about 1 degree a week. Right. So I hope that answers the question. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of What Is That in My Chart? If you don't have your chart, what are you waiting for? Comment to me below. I'll help you out in any way that I can. Until next time, bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.